Keep it open or close it out. This is our variation, since we are at the bar, of a little start-sit action. And we're going to start with the player that, man, the spotlight is just on Justin Fields this year, fellas. I mean, Jay, when you look at Fields' start to the season, not exactly how Bears fans had hoped. And we look at fantasy perspective, not even getting that production this year either, as he comes in as QB 21 on the season. For Barry going into the week, he is QB 12. Do you still feel comfortable starting Justin Fields?
Not really, no. I think the issue with Fields is that, so last year, and people seem to gloss over this, he averaged 149 passing yards per game. Like, that's insanely low. Bryce Young was set at 189 passing yards in the Monday night matchup, and that's about as low as you're going to get for a quarterback. So Fields was always dependent on his rushing ability, and so much of that value last year came on these 60, 70-yard runs that he was just breaking every week. And if he's not getting that on the ground, which he hasn't been, then all of a sudden he has to be a better passer, and it just hasn't been there at all, Matthew. He's made no strides through 2 weeks.
And you mentioned the lack of rushing. He's got 4 rushing attempts.
It's insane. Where are the
4
design
rushing
runs?
attempts. He's been under 15
runs.
fantasy points in both games this year. In 16 of his 17 career games, he's had under 220 passing yards. It's not a great matchup with Kansas City. Now, they got a little bit lucky against Jacksonville, but the fact of the matter is Chris Jones is back, and that is the 3rd best scoring defense in the NFL through the first 2 weeks. I got a lot of grief in the preseason about why didn't you name Justin Fields your ride or die? Everyone thought I was going to name Justin Fields my ride or die, and he was on the list at one point. And then the more I looked at it, I saw like, hey, that fantasy value was so inflated's probably not the wrong word, but just like he had these crazy 60, 70-yard touchdown runs that just is unsustainable. That's right. And so I will say this. This is shocking to me, the fact that they're not having designed runs for him and that he hasn't progressed any as a passer, that I thought adding DJ Moore would help him. And look, the jury's still out, but listen, on the road at Kansas City this week, that's a tough place to play. I can't imagine. Like, when my love-hate list comes out, he's going to be on it this week. I just don't know how you feel comfortable starting him this week. So, yeah, I'm not dropping him, but I'm closing it out for sure. And in leagues in where I have Justin Fields, I have him in a few, like I've been aggressive at trying to get another quarterback to start this week.
Yep, he's been QB 21 to date against 2 defenses in the Packers and Bucks, who were fine, but they're not, he's not going up against the Cowboys or anything. And he's been in game scripts, which should be favorable to accumulating fantasy points, and he's QB 21.
Well, you mentioned the game script here. This is the Chiefs are favored by 12.5 points, so this is the type of game that you would hope he could rack up at some point. I'm going to leave it open because I have him at quarterback 11 this week, right? You mentioned the 149 yards passing per game last season. He's at least got that to 213 right now. So, but the problem is, ain't no rushing. So, like, you want the 213 passing yards with the, like.
You can have the 64 passing yards back. Let's get the 70 rushing.
What you're hoping for here is that Chris Jones gets through the line and Justin Fields running for his life all on Sunday, which could certainly happen.
Just break one time.
And he's one of those guys that, like, all he needs is one of those to make his, like he breaks up a 60-yard run for a touchdown. That's made your day, right? And so I'm going to put him on the hate list, and maybe that will vault him to getting out of this funk because, I had Kirk Cousins on the hate list each of the last 2 weeks. He's made me look stupid. Love-hate's been pretty good so far this year, but my quarterback hate has been an Achilles heel, if you were. I've just missed a lot there, and he'll be on the hate list this week. So I'm nervous about it with Fields. Again, it's just.
I think a lot of people drafted guys like Jared Goff and Geno Smith to be their backup in favorable matchups. You starting both of those guys over Fields this week? Close, right?
I mean, again, I have him at 12. So I mean, he's a borderline starter for me. Again, Lawrence has him at 11. I'm at 12. I will say this. I mean, again, they're 12.5-point underdogs. I kind of like the Chiefs to cover there. Honestly, the Bears haven't been able to stop anyone, and I just feel like at home, this is a Mahomes gets right game.
Yes.
Last week was Kelsey's first game. First game back, and
Tony and Moore looked better.
Tony and Moore looked better as well. Justin Watson got a pass interference call that would have added to the total. I think this is back to being. Oh yeah, those are the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. Feels like 41-14.
Feels like this could just be an ass kicking. Yeah. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched. Or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.